guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing Titanfall 2. Most of you guys probably heard of it. It's really just a PvP and a campaign. It also includes some PvE. So you must have clicked on this video because you probably just got it, or you're just a noob at the game and you want to learn how to do it. So let's start with the pilots. So pilots are probably one of the things you're going to play as the most. There are 7 pilot types. There's the cloak, the pulse blade, the grapple, the stim, a wall, phase shift, and then a hollow pilot. Now let's start with cloak. Become nearly invisible. Cloak has increased effectiveness. You know what I'm saying. Versus Titans. So really what he's talking about that is you become nearly invisible. So pilots could still see you, but then it's like a barely visible white. A barely visible white. So you could use it to sneak up on your enemies. But if someone has keen eyesight and they just see you running up at them, you could still die. You're not like a ghost of some sort. But against Titans, you're fully invisible. You're fully invisible when a Titan looks at you. So you could just hop on their back and steal batteries. And I'll teach you how to steal batteries in a second, once I go over Titans. Cloak is very useful for just taking out Titans and running away. Pulse blade, a very useful one for multiplayer modes. It's where you have this knife, and wherever you throw it, it'll emit this pulse that will show nearby enemies in the pulse. Like, let's say someone is hiding in this giant tower. You throw it on the tower wall outside, and then you'll be able to see them through the wall, so you don't have to worry about dying because they're hiding. Description is expose enemies through all surfaces with this sonar pulse emitting throwing knife. And yes, you could kill enemies with it. So you could get some sweet trick shots. Grapple, everyone's favorite. You use it it's pretty much just a grapple gun with 2 uses before it has to recharge. You could use it to get out of reach places, to use a sniper with. Description is grappling hook is for getting out of reaches places quickly. Strategic jump enhances its effectiveness. That means whenever you jump, the momentum will stay, so it could get a small boost. But you cannot use your gun while using the grab. Stim, another good one. We're getting into some of the robot pilots. Stim quickly heals and boosts your speed for a short time. The description says it all. You use a stim. You run like a slow sonic speed. You move quite a good speed, and then you get healed. So you could use it for escapes, getting to places quickly, or healing up. AWOL. Okay. A wall, it's pretty much you just throw down a pilot-sized wall, and then it blocks all damage, but then you can shoot through it. And then you deal extra damage, because amps means you deal extra damage as you shoot through it. And then enemies that shoot at the wall can break the wall, but the only way they could break it is shooting at the little circle at the bottom, and that circle will pretty much destroy your wall. And that's how you place it. Phase shift, one of the more escape type ones. It's where you teleport into this alternate space and like a different dimension for a short time, so no one could shoot you. And then you just turn absolutely invisible. But then you can't see enemies. The thing is that if 2 pilots use the phase shift at the same time, they will see each other because they're in the same dimension, so that you could shoot each other. Hollow pilot is kind of a tricker. He's where you throw down these holograms of yourself, mimicking your actions. So let's say you stand still. The hologram will stand still. Let's say you're wall running. The holopilot will wall run. Let's say you're running. The holopilot will run. But they cannot turn unless you are turning. And they will only mimic your actions as you deploy them. They'll stop doing what you're doing once it's deployed, so you can't really control it. But then it can attack enemies because it's a hologram. Now, if you don't really know which one you like, play throughout all of them, see which one you think is the best for you, and then there you go, you have it. Now, ordnance, which is your grenades. They are quite useful. Frag grenade, you gotta be lucky with them throws. It's pretty much just a normal grenade, as everyone knows. Arc grenade stuns pilots and blinds titans. It's useful for the invisible pilot, the cloak. Fire star, which is my favorite. You throw down this ninja star and they'll start just flooding fire everywhere. Gravity star is actually quite useful. You throw it on the ground and then every enemy pilot, or just enemies in the area, will suck into its middle and then it will explode, dealing massive damage, normally one-shotting. There's now the only one that works against titans is arc grenade, satchel, and electric smoke grenade. Electric smoke grenade is a titan ability that every titan has, but then pilots can use it too. So it's pretty much you throw down this bomb, and then this gas goes everywhere, and then everything in the gas will get shocked, dealing major damage. Useful for eliminating AI that are sitting in one area. Satchel, 2 remotely detonated heavy explosives. It's pretty much where you have these grenades that are very dangerous, but then you have to explode them yourself. Now that we're done with those, let's get on with the guns. There's not really much to go over the guns. I guess go through all of them. Pistol, grenade, or shotgun, sniper rifle, light machine gun, submachine gun, and an AR. Try them out, see which one fits you. That's the one. It would take too long to go over the guns, but then they all have their own unique abilities and stuff. And then we have the customizing stuff. It's pretty much where you choose its upgrades and stuff, and you'll unlock more upgrades over time. Upgrade slots and more upgrades. Colors, this is the same with titans and guns. You just can make your guns look cool. Just like that. Your kit 1 has power cell. Your tactical is more ready, like for example your cloak charges faster, your pulse blade charges faster, just your pilot ability will charge faster. Fast regen, you guys know, you will regen health faster. Ordnance expert, your grenade, it recharges faster. It's pretty much the pilot thing, just with the grenades. And phase embark. Now, we'll talk about the getting into Titans. Phase embark is pretty much just getting into your Titan quicker. Your kit 2 has kill report. Every kill that you get, they'll be marked. Wall hang. Whenever you aim on a wall, you'll stay there. Hover. Whenever you're aiming in the air, you'll hover. Low profile. Now, this is useful for cloak. Whenever you jump as a cloak, while you're cloaked, your jump jets are still visible. So, yes, jump jets, you could double jump. So no jump jets are visible, so you're completely invisible. And then while you're stealing a battery, which I'll talk about in a second, after Titans, it will take longer to show that a enemy is riding you. Titan Hunter, the more it will increase, Titan meter is earned from damaging Titans is increased by 10%. That just means the more you'll get more Titan charge as you deal damage to a enemy Titan. We'll talk about that later. Executions, I don't really have to go over them. That's your execution. To do it, you have to be behind a enemy pilot, and then you hold your punch button. I can't say like my punch button because you guys might be on something else. And then you always can make multiple loadouts for like different modes and stuff. Now on to the Titans. Now these guys are probably going to be this is the main thing of the game, Titans. We have Ion, Scorch, Northstar, Ronin, Tone, and Legion. And also Monarch. So Ion and Tone are balanced, same as Monarch. She's balanced, but she's a little bit overbalanced. We have Legion and Scorch, the tanks, and then we have Northstar and Ronin, the weak but high damage. Now, if you're new, I would recommend Ion and Tone because they're actually very balanced. So, Ion, she likes lasers. She has her splitter rifle. Well, I don't really have to talk. I could just do maybe a Titan briefing. Ion, this is the quick video that you guys could see when you have the game. Splitter rifle, normal. I'll talk about this stuff once it's done. There's your shot. Useful. And there we go, Ion. Now, she has a special thing called energy. Now, she's the most balanced Titan, but she has something called energy. And energy is, none of the other Titans have energy. The energy will drain as you aim and use all your abilities, except from the laser core. We'll talk about cores. So your splitter rifle, your primary weapon, no aim, no draining energy. But if you aim, it's stronger damage, it splits, so you could get more hits on enemy Titans, and then it costs energy. As you see right there. Chirp, which is splitter rifle, primary, automatic energy rifle, alt, stronger split shot, drains energy. Tripwire is pretty much just, as you saw, you throw down these tripwires. If any enemy steps on it, they're dead. Not like they die instantly, but like they deal massive damage. Vortex shield is a cool one. It's where you hold up a shield, but you cannot shoot, but then any bullets that hit the shield will be sitting there, and then whenever you let go of the shield, wherever you're aiming, all those bullets will go to that place, which is cool. Laser shot, as you saw in the video, really useful for taking out enemy pilots. It's probably Ion's best sniping weapon. It deals strong damage, and then it's useful for sniping. Laser core, before we get into hardcore, cores are where your meter, once your Titan meter is full, when your Titan is actually on the ground and it's full, you could use this very overpowered ability. Laser core, pretend you're Iron Man, right? His chest fires out a giant laser. It's pretty much that. Before we go ahead and go with the other Titans, we have a Titan kit. You have Assault Chip, Stealth Auto Eject, Turbo Engine, Overcore, Nuclear Ejection, and Counter Ready. Assault Chip improves Auto Titan precision and enable the use of offensive and utility abilities. Stealth Auto Eject, automatically eject and cloak to when your Titan is doomed, preventing pilot death. That means, so what happens if your Titan runs out of health? Oh, doom. Titans could finish you if they punch. Now to finish a Titan, they have to be doomed. and then you have to punch them. And then, but with stealth auto eject, you will automatically eject, and then you'll turn invisible. It doesn't matter if you have the cloaked guy or not. It will work no matter what, if you have it equipped. Turbo Engine, Ronin, Northstar, Monarch, Ion, and Tone get 1 extra dash, with Scorch and Legion, they're the tank guys, so they have slower movement, so they have reduced dash cooldown. Overcore, Titan Core always starts with 20% build time, so you could bring down your Titan quickly, or you could use their core quickly. Nuclear Ejection, ejecting while doomed causes your Titan to detonate its core, causing nearby enemies to take massive damage. Now, it's not like Stealth Auto Eject where you automatically eject, but if once you're in doom state, you could click your eject button 3 times and you'll eject. It won't deal any damage, but with Nuclear Ejection, your Titan will sit there with a bright white glow, and then it'll explode, dealing massive damage, normally one-shotting every Titan that's close to you. Now, counter ready, 1 extra electric smoke countermeasure, which was the electric heat gas that we talked about, just bigger, useful for taking out pilots that are trying to rodeo you. I'll talk about that later when I start talking about batteries. I'll get Grand Canyon. Okay, I don't want to say Grand Canyon yet. Okay, Ion Kit, Entangled Energy. Now every Titan has their own kit with their own customized with their own power-ups within their kit. And then you could choose which one you want, so you could make your playstyle better. Like the Titan fit your playstyle. Entangled Energy. Splitter Rifle critical hits restore energy. That means if you critical hit an enemy with your primary gun, you'll get some energy back. 0-point Tripwire. Tripwire deployment uses 0 energy, so you can throw down tripwires very quickly. Vortex Simplifier, which is useful if you like using shields. Increase Vortex Shield return damage output by 35%. That means you'll just do increased damage when the bullets go back, if it hits. Grand Canyon, Laser Core lasts longer, very useful if you want to take out multiple Titans in one core. And Refraction Lens, Splitter Rifle splits 5 ways. That just means instead of 3, it'll be 5, so it could hit even more Titans at once. Titanfall Kit, you could choose between Warp Fall and Dome Shield. It'll take longer to get it'll take longer to get to the ground, but then there's your shield to protect your Titan. Now you might be thinking, what if the enemies walk in? Now if they walk in, they'll just be shocked. Warp Fall though, it's a fast and unprotected Titanfall. That means it will come down quicker, but there's no shield to protect your Titan, so enemies could already start attacking it. We don't have to go for the Titanfall kit with all the Titans. And then there's finishes. We have Death Stare and Disarm for Ion, but there's always random. We have the colors. We have the nose art, which is just a face paint. And then we have the primes. We'll talk about those later. Scorch. Now, all I have to talk about is his abilities and his kit, because everything else is already done. So let's go over the kit real quick. Wildfire Launcher, increased direct damage and thermite. Here, let's just go over the video because it just might be better. Scorch. He's the Fire Master. This is another shield useful for taking out enemy pilots. So now that you see what it is, T203 Thermite Launcher, giant thermite grenades that impact the area. That means it has huge splash damage, but then it's only one shot. Incendiary Trap fills an area with thermite ignitable gas. You throw down this gas canister, you have to shoot it to make it all flamey, as you saw in the video. Thermal Shield, melt incoming fire, which is useful. It won't return the fire, but it will just melt it. And burns nearby enemies. That means if enemies get close to your shield, they'll take some damage. Now, if pilots trying to ride on you, rodeo you, you could use it to take them out before they get on your back. Firewall fires a directed wall of thermite. You smash the ground. It's like a miniature flame core. And flame core, it's pretty much just a more damage, fatter firewall, but does not stay on the ground. Thermite shockwave that engulfs targets along its path. Now, if you wanted to act like firewall and it stays, scorched earth is the one you want. We'll talk about these. Wildfire launcher, increased direct damage and thermite from the T203 thermite launcher. That means just extra damage. Tempered plating, Scorch is immune to crits and his own thermite damage. That means you cannot be crit, and crits just mean the red spots on a Titan. And then he can't take his own fire damage, because if you don't have that tempered plating and you walk on your firewall, you'll take some damage. Inferno shield, increased damage and duration of the thermal shield. That means you could hold it up longer, and Titans and pilots will normally be one-shotted. Fuel for the fire. Firewall's cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds, so it could firewall everywhere. And Scorched Earth, flame core ignites the ground, leaving thermite in its wake, which is very useful. Now let's go on to North Star, the sniper. Now this is the first low HP'd one, so you have to be smart on what you're doing. There we go. Now that little final bit was just her finish. So we have her plasma railgun. If you aim, it will get increased damage if you keep aiming. And if you don't aim, it's just normal shots. Now her plasma railgun will one-shot pilots no matter what, which is very useful. VTOL hover, take off in the air, so you can snipe better. Tether trap, it's pretty much her only escape. You throw down this trap, and then whenever a Titan gets out of its proximity, when they walk into its proximity and walk out, they'll be trapped, so you can snipe them better. Cluster missile is pretty much just a small missile that has millions of explosions on impact. And flight core, now this is not really a good core, but it's like your last stand. You go up into the air and fire a lot of missiles. Really useful. North Star kits. Piercing shot, plasma railgun rounds fire through targets, useful if you want to get more damage in. Enhanced payload, cluster missile secondary explosions hit a larger in range and last longer. That means just more damage. Twin traps, tether traps fire 2 traps. That means the Titan has even more limited walking space. Viper thrusters, you just move faster in the air when you're using the hover and flight core. And threat optics, enemies are highlighted while zoomed in. That means you could find enemies and just snipe them. Now on to Ronin. Lots of people like this guy. He's the melee master. That was his finish at the end, but it wasn't his sword core. Okay, lead wall is pretty much just a shotgun with a widespread phase dash, quickly directional phase shift. Now that just means that the pilot that was able to teleport in a different dimension. Ronin could do the same with his phase dash. Sword block reduces damage from incoming fire. Now you still take damage, but it's barely anything. And as you hold it, it acts like a cool lightsaber. Arc wave slows and damages enemies. That just means your enemies get stunned and then damages them, useful for dealing some damage at the start of a fight. And sword core, you take out your sword on your back and you just go swinging like crazy. But then the thing is that it cancels your before I get into that, your melee is your sword. So if you use your sword against an enemy, you get a finish if they're doomed. But your sword core, whenever an enemy is doomed and you're using your sword core, it won't finish. But it's normally one shot, so you don't really have to worry. Ronin kit. Ratchet rounds. Lead walls around passive surfaces so it could easily take out pilots that are hiding in these rooms. Thunderstorm. Arcwave has 2 charges, so you could use 2 arc waves. Temporal anomaly. Phase dash is available more often. That just means a shorter cooldown. Highlander. Titan kills extend the duration of sword core, so if you get a kill, you get to use your sword more. Now the thing about your sword core, before I continue to the next one, your dashes regenerate way more faster. Phase reflex when doomed, Ronin phases out of danger. That means you'll just go to the different dimension when you're doomed, so you could have a simple escape. Tone. This is another balanced one. Flamer rockets the North Star. Okay, so it's 4mm tracker cannon, semi-auto, explosive rounds, grants particle lock-on. That means if you shoot an enemy 3 times, they will get a lock-on. And then you can use your tracker missiles, which is at the top next to salvo core, that will deal some damage. Now if you know how to do this. Now you know how to do this by shooting your enemy 3 times, tracking rockets, shoot 3 times, tracking rockets. If you know how to do that over and over again, Tone, you could be kind of unstoppable as Tone. Sonar lock, it shoots this sonar pulse. Now it's just like the pulse blade, just bigger, with a bigger one. But then it gives you 1 lock-on, so you could shoot a Titan 2 times to get a full lock-on. Particle wall, unlike the others we've seen with the shield, you actually could put down a wall that you could actually shoot through, which is actually very useful, or at least have a shield that you could shoot with. And then your salvo core, it's useful to shoot up in the air. You could shoot up in the air or wherever you want, and then wherever you're looking, that's where the rockets will go. Very useful for taking out lots of Titans at once. Tone kits, enhanced tracker rounds, critical hits apply 2 tracker marks on targets. That means if you critical hit, it'll do 2 tracking shots, so you could hit the body or the Titan 1 more time, and then they're fully locked. Reinforced particle wall, it says it's all. Your particle wall will hold more damage, so it could stay alive longer. Pulse echo, after a short delay, sonar pulse echoes a second pulse, so you can find even more enemies if they entered that zone. And rocket barrage, tracker rockets fire 2 additional missiles. That means you can fire even more rockets, that means even more damage. And then burst loader, aiming allows the 4mm to store up to a 3-shot burst fire. So if you like burst ARs, choose that kit. Next one, Legion. He's a big boy. He's the next tank and the last one. That's his finish right there. Now let's talk about his gray section. Predator Cannon, a very powerful minigun, but it has a very long spin-up time. Mode switch has a close range and a sniper mode, and then it'll help you snipe or just do close range damage. Gun shield, another shield you could shoot through, but it doesn't cover your whole body. It just covers like around your minigun, as you saw. Power shot, close range, knocks back not all nearby enemies. That means all enemies in front of you will get pushed back. Useful for getting Titans away for escape. And then long range damages all enemy in its path. But you have to switch modes to switch the power shot. And Smart Core is really OP. It's where your minigun will check onto anything that your Titan could see. So anything that's in front of you, you could just look to the side. And if it's still on your screen, you can still shoot at it. Even though your Predator Cannon ain't aiming at it, it'll still get the hits. Legion Kit, enhanced ammo capacity, increased ammo capacity, sensor array, Smart Core lasts longer, bulwark, gun shield blocks twice as much damage, lightweight alloys, move faster while the Predator Cannon is spun up, and hidden compartment. Power shot has 2 charges, power shot damage is reduced by 15. Now Monarch, there used to be Ion through Legion, but then they added Monarch. She's the one in the campaign, but this is like a different Monarch, because the Monarch in the campaign is a boy. Well, Monarch in this one is a girl. She's really special. You'll see in this video. Free battery seal for getting execution. Sweet. Now, her XO-16 automatic rifle, everyone's favorite. Rearm. We'll talk about that later. So, rocket salvo. You fire a few rockets, useful for taking out AI, and sitting still pilots, which would be really dumb. Energy siphon. You shoot this laser beam that slows his energy and drains shields. Well, not drains shields. But then let me redo that. Energy siphon, whenever it hits an enemy, it slows enemies and it gives you shield. Heavily armored targets generate more shield. That means like a Legion would give you even more shield. And rearm refreshes energy siphon and rocket salvo while they're on their cooldown. Monarch Kit. Now, Monarch might take a little longer to explain because she has something special. Monarch Kit. Now, this time it's 4, not 5. Shield amplifier. Energy siphon. Shield gives 25% more shield. That means you could stay alive longer. But Energy Thief. Everyone loves this one. Core meter is earned 10% faster, and Titan executions deal Titan executions deal a battery. That means if you execute someone while they're doomed, that means we'll finish. You get a free battery. We'll talk about those later, as I said. Rapid rearm reduces the cooldown of rearm by 5 seconds, so you could just keep using the rockets and energy siphons. And survival of the fittest. This one is very useful. Batteries can repair the Monarch out of doomed state. Now, if you get a green battery and you use it on a doomed Titan, it will not get you out of doomed. But if you have the survival of the fittest equipped on Monarch, a green battery could bring you out of doomed state. But then if you have a yellow battery, which is only obtainable in Frontier Defense, you could get out of doom state with that of Monarch. Now let's talk about her core upgrades, which is her super. Her super is, or a core, is recharges your Titan shield and upgrades your Titan in order of the upgrades above. Let's talk about upgrade 1. Now these might take some time. Arc rounds. Exo 16 rounds deal more damage to shields and drain energy from vortex and thermal shields. That means you get to take down shields more quickly. Increased ammo capacity too. Missile racks. Rocket salvo fires twice as much of the amount of missiles used for taking down Titans. And then energy transfer. Hitting friendly Titans with the energy siphon gives them shield, which will be useful if you want to heal your teammates. Core upgrade 2, rearm and reload. Faster reload and rearm speeds. That means you reload faster and your rearm charges quicker. Now, if you have rapid rearm, you could use the rearm so quickly. Maelstrom. Electric smoke is intensified, dealing more damage to Titans and pilots. That'd be useful if you're in a big cluster. Energy field. Energy siphon affects a large area around the point of impact. So let's say you miss a shot, but you hit the ground of where the Titan's feet are right next to. You still get the siphon. Now, core upgrade 3 gets crazy. Multi-target missiles. Hold rocket salvo to lock onto heavily armored targets. Missiles deal more damage. Superior chassis. Upgrades Monarch's max HP, which makes her like a Legion and Scorch HP, and removes weak points and vulnerabilities. That means you cannot get critted, just like Scorch's tempered plating. And Exo 16 accelerator installs the accelerator mod for the Exo 16, increases its max fire rate and damage. That means it acts like a very strong medium-ranged SMG, which is sweet. And that's it. So let's talk about boosts. Now you'll unlock these over time. We have amped weapons, ticks, pilot sentry, map hack, battery backup, radar jammer, Titan sentry, smart pistol, phase rewind, hard cover, hollow pilot nova, and dice roll. That was a mouthful. Amped weapons, temporary increase weapons for your primary and secondary weapons. Ticks, spiral like drones, actively seek out enemies before self-detonation. Comes with 2 charges. Pilot sentry, an anti-personnel automated turret, 1 minute lifetime. Map hack reveals enemies to your entire team. That means every enemy on everywhere will be revealed to your team in the entire game. Battery backup, give yourself a free battery. No to replace with amped weapons and pilots versus pilots and live fire modes. Radar jammer, scrambled enemies radar, which will be useful. Titan sentry, anti-Titan automated turret, 1 minute lifetime. Replaced with amped weapons and pilots versus pilots and live fire modes, limit 3 in inventory. Smart pistol, locks on to nearby targets for guaranteed hits. 2 12-round magazines. Phase rewind is pretty much the phase dash, but you actually go backwards, so you could like get out of trouble easily. Hardcover, reinforced pilot-sized particle shield. It's pretty much that shield thing. It's just that it's harder to take down. Hollow pilot nova, create 3 decoys of yourself. They won't mimic your action, but then they're just decoys. And dice roll. A randomly chosen boost is activated on you, so let's say if you use it, you could get your battery backup, or you could get a tick, or you could get your smart pistol. Very useful. Now, the activation cost thing is just your Titan meter. We'll talk about that later. Calcine, banners, which other people could see. Patch, other people could see. Faction, this is just more multiplayer modes. There's Marauder Corps, Apex Predators, Vision Dynamics, Angel City Elite, the 6-4, Ares Division, and Marvin's Finest Hour. Networks is just that multiple people is in one network, and then you can play with them. Now let's just get into a game. So let's just do some Frontier Defense, and I don't know. Let's do Monarch. Up here comes some blue screen for a second. Okay, we're back. Now let's find a match and see
Jay,
how we could do it.
Jay, can we continue the roleplay we were doing?
Well,
Caitlin, is this your party, right?
while we're waiting,
Let me check. Good. Oh, yes, it is. Phew. Why phew? Because last time they could hear me. It's Caitlin's party.
now I need to mute herself so she won't actually like annoy you guys.
Wait, do they hear me?
Timing. She did it. Now we just have to connect to match. So we're going to do regular. Well, sorry, now I'm doing a video. Oh! I got an error.